Hello and welcome to Mindful Living, where we explore the art of living with the intention, balance, and inner peace. I am Avik, your host, guiding you through conversations on health, meditation, mental well being, mindfulness, and the mind body connection. Each episode features expert insights to help you grow, heal, and thrive. So, take a deep breath, relax, and join us on this journey to a more mindful and fulfilling life. So, let's get started.
Hello and welcome, listeners, to another empowering episode of the Mindful Living podcast. I'm your host, Sana, and today we have an inspiring guest joining us, Drewbie Wilson. Welcome to the show, Drewbie.
Hey, thank you so much for having me, Sana. I appreciate it. Excited to be here.
Great. So, listeners, before we proceed on to the discussion, I would love to share a bit about my guest with all of you. So, Drewbie is not just a loving husband and father, he is a man who transformed his life in extraordinary ways. After losing over 100 pounds through sheer focus and discipline, he's gone on to lead a multi-million-dollar consulting company as vice president, helping others push beyond their limits. Whether it's mindset, motivation, or time management, Drewbie has mastered the art of turning challenges into opportunities. So, listeners, get ready for a deep dive into how you can leverage these tools to elevate your life. So let's jump right in. So, Drewbie, welcome again to the show, and it's an absolute honor to have you with us today.
Thank you again. I appreciate the time and the opportunity to be here with yourself and the listeners. One thing you'll hear me say a lot, time is our most valuable asset. Time, energy, and effort are things that we cannot get back. We cannot buy more of. So if they're going to spend a little time with us today and you've given me a little of yours, I'm truly grateful for it.
Absolutely. Wow, what a great start. So, Drewbie, your personal journey of losing over 100 pounds, it is remarkable. How did you shift your mindset to achieve such a massive transformation, which requires perseverance and discipline? And how does that mindset apply to other areas of life?
Oh, thank you for asking. This is one of those things where I've actually lost 100 pounds, put it all back on, and then had to lose it again because I didn't develop the mindset the first time. So the first time I made the decision, I was younger. I think I stepped on the scale at 20 years old and it creeped up to 315 pounds. And I thought, my goodness, this is not the man I want to be. This is not the person I want to be. So at that time, I really just made the decision to stop eating so much garbage, stop drinking soda and sugary drinks. And a lot of that was just differences in dietary decisions mostly that led to a significant weight loss. And then I lost all that weight. Felt good, looked good. Wouldn't you know it? That's around the same time that I met a beautiful young lady who ended up becoming my wife. And after we got married and started dating, going out to eat, and then she got pregnant, and our son was born. Well, I put that weight right back on because I hadn't developed the discipline and the consistency and the willpower to make those decisions. And shortly after my son was born, I was on the scale looking down and had gone from 315 to 215. And then when my son was born, I was back up to 275. And all I could think to myself was, what are you doing? Again, I want to set a better example for my son and for my family and the people that I care about. And so I went back on a journey of hard work and discipline and personal development. And I'm happy to say that I've maintained that loss and I stay floating around like 205 pounds, 210, depending on, if we have any extra tacos that week. But it really was the mindset and the discipline consistency that made the difference of being able to maintain that loss versus achieving it for a short time and then falling right back into old bad habits.
Wow, wow. That's a really, a very interesting journey. And thank you so much for sharing this with our listeners, Ruby. And Appreciate your perseverance and your consistency. So, you have said that confidence and empathy are your superpowers. How do these qualities shape the way you motivate yourself and others as well to stay on track with their goals?
I love that question, Sana. So it's really a two-part answer because there's two parts to the question.
Yep.
Empathy is really just understanding and caring. And that could be caring about yourself and how you want to live and survive and the kind of life that you want. It
Mhm.
could be caring about the people around you, your children, your spouse, your family, maybe even your friends. And empathy is the ability to understand and relate to where someone is at in their own journey.
Mhm.
So I think having empathy is a great awareness because it helps you understand and realize that there are things you want out of life and there are things that other people want out of life. And often, if we can help each other get those things that we want, we end up being happier and having better relationships. So I think having empathy is really important because whether it's a personal thing or a professional thing, caring about the other individual or individuals involved in the situation is going to lead to a better outcome for everyone. And then on the other side of that, the confidence aspect is you, me, and the listener all know that if we walked into a room and we feel good because we look good and we've been eating good and we have the energy we should have because we slept good,
Mhm.
typically those are pretty dang good days. But
Exactly.
on the days when we know we haven't taken care of ourselves, we haven't drank enough water, we didn't get enough sleep, we don't feel good in our clothes, those tend to be the days where we don't get as much done. Those tend to be the days where we don't feel as though we've accomplished the things that we want in our life. And so if you know you're more confident when you have on clothes that fit good and you've drank the water and you've gotten the sleep, why wouldn't you want to keep doing the things that give you confidence that lead to the better result throughout the day? It's this weird thing that humans do where they know they should do the thing that's going to make them feel good, but then they choose not to do it because of comfort. And that's where that discipline really comes into play because you can't be confident if you're just always comfortable.
Wow. Wow. And what strategies have you used to manage time effectively while balancing family, health, and a successful career? Are there any tips or golden nuggets you would like to share for those who are struggling with time management?
Absolutely, Sana. Thank you. Again, you've got some amazing questions. So I appreciate what an awesome host that you are having really thought this out because their time is valuable. And you took the time to invest to understand a little bit more about me and my journey. And I'm grateful for that because, like I said before, time is our most valuable asset. We can't buy it, we can't win it in a card game. Nobody gives us a box of it Christmas morning or on a holiday. So we understand time is very valuable. What I find though is most people don't know what the value of their time actually is. And so, what I typically do when I'm working with my clients or I'm trying to coach someone through this process is we start with getting an actual understanding of what your time is worth. And the easy formula for that is if you add up all of the money that you made last year, your main job, maybe you have a side hustle, whatever you're doing to earn money, that takes time, energy, and effort. So we want to add that total amount of income up, and then we want to divide it by 2,000. Because
Mhm.
if you were an average worker who worked 40 hours a week, 50 weeks a year, and you took your 2 week vacation, 40 hours, 50 weeks is 2,000 hours. And so I look at it and think, well, if I made, let's say, $50,000 last year, my time's worth about $25 an hour. If I made $100,000, my time is worth $50 an hour. And so you can see how that starts to shift how much you earn based on how much each hour of your time is worth. But what's really scary, Sana, is that if we knew we only had 24 hours left to live, would you still be willing to trade an hour of your time for that same dollar amount?
Hmm. That's interesting. That's interesting. I don't think so.
I don't think I would do it either, right? That's the scary part about this.
Right.
However, there is a number at some point where we start to think, hey, for that kind of money, knowing that money is a tool, is a resource that I can use for the people in my life, the things in my life that I care about, that I have empathy for,
Mm-hmm.
at a certain point, I may be willing to trade 1 hour for that amount of money because I know how much I can do with that resource.
Exactly.
And so, what I encourage people and challenge them to start doing is thinking, if my time is worth X amount of dollars per hour right now, I have to make the choice if I want to make more money. I can either work twice as many hours, or I can personally develop and learn and become more skilled so that my hourly value increases. Does that make sense?
That absolutely makes sense, Ruby. It makes sense. Wow.
Thank you. And that to me is where I really like to hone in on that, because once you have that awareness, now we can be more intentional with how we're spending our time, and likely that will lead to getting a better result with a bigger return on your investment, if you will.
Hmm. That's, I think, a more logical, and it quantifies, absolutely quantifies, and also gives you a clear picture of the value of your time.
That's
So,
my whole goal, because if I can help people do that, then hopefully they'll be a little more intentional with where they're spending it.
definitely. And you started your career with tech support, and now to becoming vice president of a multi-million dollar company. How has your mindset around growth and success evolved throughout your career?
Oof. It has been quite the wild journey. It's kind of like a roller coaster, or I don't know if you ever seen those videos on like Instagram and TikTok where people are climbing Mount Everest
Yeah.
and you can see, oh my good, that's kind of what the journey's been like. It's gut wrenching and exhilarating all at the same time.
Yep.
Um, I'm very grateful and blessed to know that I've had a lot of really great things that have happened, and also a lot of not so great things that have happened, which allow me to learn and grow and continue moving towards more of the great things, because that's what life is. It's a series of lessons that we are given, and we get to make the decision and the choice of if we see those lessons as opportunity or
Mhm.
we see those as losses, and we get bitter and upset and let that energy take over.
Definitely. And, you know, many people, I mean, I'll be honest, including me also, we sometimes feel um, overwhelmed or anxious by our goals, whether it's in our personal development or maybe health or business. What's your advice for breaking through that initial resistance and taking consistent action, not just one time, but consistently?
Ooh, that's why I live by two mottos: call
Mhm.
the damn leads and crush the day before it crushes you. Because ultimately, when it comes to business, the answer to all of your problems is almost always sales. If you
Mm,
make more sales, you'll bring in more money, you'll have more tools and resources to do the things that you know you need to do.
sure.
And I think on the other side of that, just getting very clear about, it's easy to let the outside influences of the world
Hmm.
control how you feel, how you behave, how you think. And the one thing that I learned is that if I immediately wake up and I go to social media, or I turn on the news, or I start reading something negative,
Hmm.
the rest of my day tends to have a bit of a negative charge to
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I agree.
On the other side, if I wake up and I drink water and I pray and I talk about gratitude and how great my life is and how lucky I am that I'm not dead or in prison compared to the life that I had growing up,
Mhm.
um, it really doesn't matter what comes at me throughout the day. I'll figure it out, and I'm just grateful for another blessing and opportunity to do that, because there are a lot of friends and people I know from along the way who don't have that same opportunity. So for me, I'm going to crush the day before it gets any sort of chance to crush me. So that's why I live by that motto as well.
Super, super. And you have built a reputation for going all in. on every area of your life. So, how do you maintain that motivation to push past the comfort zones, as you talked about in the initial discussion, and continuously challenge yourself?
Yeah, I have chosen to live by something called the four sixes. So you
Mhm.
had mentioned earlier, there's a couple areas of life that are, for all intents and purposes, like more important than some of the others.
Mhm.
I see it as there's four areas that are really important. Sleep is number one. Kasana, I don't know about you, but I got to get my beauty sleep. And I've been, I grew up in the streets and I've been on drugs and on benders for 48, 72 hours. And I know that after that long, you're not any sort of useful whatsoever. So we can all agree that rest and recovery is really, really important. And we could probably just put that at the top of the list.
Mhm.
After that, we typically will have our family, our relationships, the legacy that we're trying to build. That's really kind of an important thing, especially for entrepreneurs and who are, those who are trying to have more mindful living. They're trying to create something for the people that matter to them. And then most of us have to go to work because I don't have FU money yet, Sana. And I don't know if you've got just an unlimited bank account, but like I still got to go to work and earn money so that I can pay for all the things that I love in my life.
Exactly.
And then interestingly, a lot of people put ourselves last. We get burnt out, we get out of shape, we don't sleep well, we aren't eating right. But we're still telling everyone in this world, our job, our family, how hard we're working and how we are, constantly doing everything for them. But that's kind of weird because Sana, have you ever been on an airplane?
Yeah, I have been.
You know how they tell you right away if there's an emergency, you have to put your own oxygen mask
Exactly.
on first
And then put it on your loved ones, your children.
and then put it on your loved ones. But people
Yes.
still live their life and they put their loved ones first and then put themselves last. And they constantly question, how come I don't have any energy for me? How come I can't do all the things that I know I need to do to live the life that I want to live? And they start to build resentment as if it's like someone else's fault that you personally aren't making your life energy and recovery a priority. And so to me, if there's 24 hours in a day and there's four areas of life that are really, really important,
Mhm.
we can do some math. 24 divided by 4 is 6. So that means I can spend 6 hours sleeping, 6 hours working on me, six
Uh-huh.
hours working on my business, and 6 hours working on my family and my relationships. And I know, Sana, if I've ever spent 6 hours on something that I'm really excited about, something that I really enjoy, that
Mhm.
time goes pretty dang quick. And if you've ever spent 6 hours with someone that you really love with no other worries, you
Yes,
can make some amazing memories. So,
exactly.
what if you just lived your life every day with intentionality, knowing you're going to invest a certain amount of time into each of those areas to get the best result?
Superb. And for listeners who are working on their mindset, Drewbie, but still struggling with self doubt, what actionable steps can they take today to start seeing progress?
So, from a physical standpoint, a lot of people want to improve their health and their wellness, but they're not sure. They're like, I don't know if I should go to the gym. I think a good long walk every morning is a great way to start your day. It's good for your health. It's good for your mindset. It's good for you, like your spirituality, if that's something that is important to you, because getting up early and going for a good long walk, it gives you a chance to have those conversations with yourself. It gives you a chance to be mindful of your surroundings, to be mindful of the conversations that you're having. And you can listen to shows just like this, and you can find inspiration and motivation from others who have taken the journey, and if you just get up and do that every day, that momentum will lead to an absolutely amazing journey.
Awesome, awesome, Drewbie. Okay, another aspect which I would like to touch here. So, you also have a powerful story about saving your marriage by redefining time and boundaries. So,
Mhm.
for our listeners, can you share how this experience helped you realign your priorities and what advice you have for those seeking a similar balance?
Oof, you're getting deep on me, Sana, and I'm gonna share some stuff that's gonna be a little difficult, but I'm gonna share it because I think it's gonna help one of the listeners. I know if we just help one person with their relationship today, it's gonna be very, very powerful. So, I'm a very, very, very lucky man in that my wife is as stubborn and pig-headed as I am. She's
Mhm.
not a quitter. And so when I started my journey of personal development, I kind of made the decision without her. I was not happy in my own life and I didn't want to bring her down. So I was like, I'm going to go do what I got to do to have more happiness so that I can be a better husband for her.
Mhm.
And I went all in. Like you said, I'm an all in, all or nothing kind of person.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, what happened is by going all in on me, I wasn't making enough time for the we in our relationship. I was, for all intents and purposes, I was there. So I wasn't going to the bar. I wasn't going out and golfing or what. I would literally wake up, work out, hang out with them, go to work, come home, hang out with them, put them to bed, and then go upstairs and work. And I was just being very, very intense and like seriously grinding to the core. And unfortunately, in December, on Christmas Eve of 2019, my wonderful, amazing wife handed me her wedding ring back and said, "Hey, listen, we love you, me, your son, like we love you. But right now, it feels like you're married to your business, not to your family. So we need you to make a decision. What do you want?"
Hmm.
And it was a really difficult thing for me to go through because in my mind, I was making more money. I
Hmm.
was in better shape. I was providing a life for them that we had never had the opportunity to have before. I was home every night. I was there for breakfast. So it didn't make sense. But Sana, what I realized, I was living in a future version of myself in this future reality that I was creating. And
Okay.
even if I was in the room, I wasn't present. So even if physically I was sitting on the couch next to my wife and son while they were watching a movie, in my mind, the only movie that was playing was the future that I was building. So I had to learn to create boundaries because, that dream world is really amazing. There's a lot of great stuff that's going on in that dream world. But you know what's not in that dream world?
No
The
boundaries.
people in your life who are right next to you right now in this very moment.
Exactly.
And so that's where I really got so intent about I need to be more intentional with my time and know that if these are things that are important to me, I can invest 100% focused effort into them. And
Mhm.
by doing that, it actually created an increase in how much I was getting out of that investment. Because instead of putting a couple bucks here and a couple bucks there, it was like, I'm $100 all in on this right now. And when
Mhm.
you play the max bet at the casino, you always get the biggest reward.
Wow. That's really encouraging, Ruby. Thank you so much for answering this question, and enlightening our listeners. With the changes you made, the self realization you had, and really, this was an insightful conversation, from mindset shifts to mastering time management to prioritizing your loved ones. You have shown us that it's possible to rise to any challenge with the right mindset and then of course the right tools. So really, if our listeners want to connect with you, um, explore how you are making changes in your life as well as helping your clients to thrive, helping your business, your loved ones, how they can do that.
What I would ask if they enjoyed the conversation they heard today, share this episode on your social media platform of choice and tag myself at Call the Damn Leads and tag the Mindful Living Show with Sana. Let them know that you listened to this episode and you enjoyed it and that you got something valuable from it. That's going to do two things. It's going to tell me and Sana that you spent some time with us here and you really enjoyed the conversation, which is why we have these and why we spend this time to be here with y'all. And secondly, it's going to notify me and let me know that you like the conversation, and which you can then follow up with me on that social media platform, Google, wherever you want to go at Call the Damn Leads. We are everywhere. And if you are a sales professional, entrepreneur, business owner, or just a person who wants to dial in and live a better life, come and find me. I'd love to share more about what we have. There's lots of free resources and training and all sorts of stuff I can send you.
Super, super. That's really awesome. And Drewbie, thank you so much once again for taking time out and sharing insightful conversations with us, your life journey, your experiences, the golden nuggets for all of us. So thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity. I'm truly grateful.
And listeners, thank you so much for tuning into this conversation of the mindful living. And if you are ready to take your life to the next level, don't forget to check out the show notes for more information on how to connect with Drewbie and access his incredible content. You can also subscribe, leave a review, give us some shout out, Drewbie some shout out, to let everyone know that yes, we are trying to make some difference in each and everyone's lives. And thanks again for tuning into the Mindful Living podcast. And until next time, stay mindful and stay motivated. I'm your host, Sana, signing off.